One of the most important aspects of selling cards online is shipping them out. So today we're going to cover some of the best practices to get fair, accurate, and quick delivery on your shipments. Yo, YouTube. My name is Adam. Welcome back to the Dollar Box. This is your first time here. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoy the content. We just came off of a holiday, so I haven't made a video in a few days. Been kind of hectic. We host some holiday things at my house. But today, I really wanted to cover something that we kind of talk about, but never really discuss all the minor details in what happens when you go to ship a sale. So kind of want to go over some of those items. And we have, of course, have a bunch of sales from the weekend to ship out. So we'll use some of those to kind of show how we do the shipping here at the Dollar Box. So the first thing that you want to make sure you do is take care of the condition of the card. Okay. So for example, the first sale we've got here is this Homer Simpson promo card. So we sold a copy of this card this weekend for $3.50. So the first thing I do is I make sure I get a nice quality sleeve on the card if it's not already sleeved. You would never want to ship a card without that, because that's primarily what's going to protect your corners, is the sleeve. The next thing I do is I use top loads. So I grab a top load that I have set aside for shipping. Now this was a single card sale, so pretty simple. We're going to put the single card in that top load. Now I know some sellers like to use the card savers. That's fine too. Same principle. Obviously you're going to sleeve it and then put it right into the card saver. Now one thing I do with card savers is I try to make sure I center the card as best as possible, because it can get kind of trapped in the sides here. And you also want to make sure you push it down far enough. I do find that when I use card savers, the card can slide up a little more than they do with top loads, at least in my experience. Feedback from customers. So if you're going to do the card saver, again, you get the card centered in there, and then you want to put a good bit of tape across this opening. So at least if it were to slide up, maybe the top of your sleeve would catch that tape, but the card should be relatively unfazed through the shipping process. But I use top loads, so I'm going to show how I do this. So obviously you're going to take your card and slide it into the top load. Now this might be a little 101 for many of you. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you're probably like, oh, how to put a card in a top load. Good one, Adam. But I really wanted to just kind of go over everything. So someone new who's looking at shipping, I wanted to give them a good idea of what I've learned through trial and error over shipping for years. Anyway, so you have this top load. Then a lot of people use painter's tape. I just use regular masking tape. They're basically the same thing, just different colors. Masking tape is about half the price of the painter's tape, and I use a lot of tape, so I like the masking tape. Now, what I do is I buy a thinner roll. Actually, I usually buy it thinner than this. My wife picked this up this last time, so that's fine. I can work with it. But basically, I peel it open a little bit, and then I just tear a little tab off. So just enough to make sure I seal the top load. You do not want to waste supplies when you're selling low-end sports cards, because the dollar amounts of your profits are small, and you need to add them to add up much quicker than your expenses. So that would be the top-loaded card. All right, so we went over our first sale. Let's go over our second sale, and then we'll go to the next shipping topic here. So the next sale is a Tom Brady card, and it is a highlights card from 2018 Donruss, I believe. Yep, Donruss. And this one sold for $3.50. So again, another single card sale. So we're going to pop it in this top load here. We've already gone through how we do that process. Got my piece of tape. So envelope is important. I buy the number 6 envelopes from Walmart. You get, I think, yeah, you get 100 in a box. I'll show you the box. These are the ones that I buy. I do not buy the self-sealing one. Again, those are much more expensive, about twice the cost of the Lick'em envelopes. However, you don't have to lick them, so it doesn't really matter anyway. But this is what I buy. It's 100 envelopes. It's Pen Gear is the brand, but it's Walmart only. And I tend to buy quite a few boxes at a time. I have a big stack behind me because they don't always have them. So whenever I'm at Walmart or I'm passing Walmart and I decide to stop in, I try to pick up as many boxes as I can so that I would never run short. Okay, so you have your envelope here. I like the smaller ones. Some people like the big business size ones. Again, those cost you a lot more, and you just have a lot of empty space in the envelope when you're using a top load. But definitely envelope and envelope cost is important. You're going to go through a ton of these. So you want to be able to make sure you can get them easily enough. They're a challenge pretty much no matter what envelope you use, but you can attain them, and then try to get them in as much bulk as you can. So the other thing you want to do, and I think the perspective in this video has changed since before because I forgot I just built a new power lift desk. And I was looking down at the screen and I thought, well, I don't have to do that. I can raise the desk. So anyway, so you're kind of seeing me straight on a little bit more than usual. But the next thing I do when I'm going to envelope up my card, so I've got my Brady Highlights card here, is I also have business cards. So I made two-sided business cards. One has the Thedollarbox.shop, so that is a direct link if you scan this to my eBay store. And then on the back side, I have a scan with the direct link underneath to this YouTube channel. So I kind of get a 2-for-1. So I paid for one business card, but I'm really advertising two things that I do for my business. The other thing I do is I just write a little thank you on there. Now, if you don't have business cards, that's fine. You certainly don't have to, especially if you're not going to be doing a ton of sales. You're just kind of dabbling in it, or it's a side hustle. But I would still strongly suggest get like some thank you sticky notes or write thank you on a piece of paper if you wrap it in paper. I know some sellers will do that. They'll wrap a piece of paper around on it and put it in the envelope. I don't bother doing that. Again, that's cost. Paper is not super cheap. It's one more thing I have to have in here, one more step in the process of mailing, which takes time. So I don't do that. I have my business card with my thank you, got the card safely in the top load, put it in the envelope, and then I go ahead and print my label. Now, that's the next thing you really want to make sure you have. You need to get a thermal printer. So they're not very expensive. You can get Bluetooth versions where you don't have to plug them in. You can get like a wired version, which is what I use. I just plug it right into my laptop via USB, and then obviously a power cord as well. But it saves you a ton of time. You don't have to worry about, miswriting a label or your writing not being legible, anything like that. You simply hit print. You have to buy the label through eBay in order to get the 63-cent label with tracking. I'm going to try to cover this up a little bit here. But you get your 63 cents label here with tracking. Ironically, I said so it's nice and clear, and the printing was off a little bit. But the barcode that they scan is on here perfectly. And then what I do with this is I simply tape over the opening of the envelope. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do that here. So this is the opening, and I just sort of stick the top first onto the top of the envelope. So you can see right here, covers over the opening. And then when you roll it over to the other side, you simply fold it over and stick it on the other side of the envelope. So that the label is nice and clear, easy to scan. It covers that opening for you. You don't have to lick anything, so no need to buy self-seal. If this ever gets tampered with or somebody, cracks into the envelope, you'd see a cut here. So you don't have to worry about that. And still remains a bit flexible, which the post office requires to scan these through, and you're good to go. All right, let's take a look at our next sale. We will do this one here. So this is a card of Sterling Sharp. Don't get a ton of Sterling Sharp sales, but he does have a following, and of course I sell a ton of Brett Favre, so Sterling Sharp kind of goes along with that. But I sold this 1994 classic sterling sharp base card for $1.89. Now that may not sound like much, but I can get stuff like this really, really cheap. There isn't a big demand for that player. So if you can get a stack of these for $1 or $2, you essentially have no cost in them. So $1.89 is a decent profit. So again, we're going to top load our single card. I'm going to tear my slight bit of tape, put it over the top load. I always pinch the top too, just to make sure that the tape is stuck on there real good. You can kind of test it too by, sort of shaking the card around, seeing if it moves. It's in there real solid, no sound, no wiggle. It's sleeved, of course, inside. Then I've got my business card with the thank you. I've got my envelope. Put that in there. And again, this is a single card order. So pretty simple process that way. Next, I will show a multi-card order and how I kind of change my packing for that situation. And print the label for this one, and then we can move on. And I do suggest a standing desk for packing orders and stuff like that. It's really nice. It allows you a lot of space underneath to work with, to get your chair under and maybe some boxes of cards, whatever you need it for. But then also when I'm pulling cards, my desk is across from where my cards are stored. So it's easy for me to take them and set them on the desk because it's not like I have to drop them down to where the desk level is. I have that desk raised up to easily be able to place cards on it. Okay, this is what we're going to do next then. Now we've got a multi-card order. Now, anything up to 6 cards, I will ship in one card saver with a thick sleeve. So I only use one sleeve, one card saver, put all 6 cards in it. The cards stay together real nice because they're all in one single sleeve. And then tape the top here and print your 1-ounce label. You can still send it for 63 cents in that case. Anytime I have over 6, I'm going to do this so I can print the label too. Anytime I have over 6, then I use 2 card savers. And same process, thick sleeve, card saver, and then another card saver with a thick sleeve. And then I simply just match the openings of the 2 card savers together and tape them shut. So you essentially have one solid piece of plastic, which is nice, especially this time of year with snow and rain and things like that. Anything you can do to help protect cardboard from weather is to your advantage. Now, this is kind of a fun sale. I bought a big stack of these for $10. I think it's almost 200 cards of these Starline celebrity cards. And I had a big order for some Hollywood actresses from back in the day. So I got Ginger Rogers here, Joan Leslie, Janet Leigh, Rhonda Fleming, Lauren Bacall. I remember Lauren Bacall. I've seen her in some movies. Vera Miles, and Dorothy Lamour. So I have 6 cards that sold. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 7. It's actually 7 cards. 7 cards, but I think they're super thin. They're like, early 90s paper thin cards. I think I can put all 6 or all 7 together, in one card saver. So you take the thick sleeve and you can easily fit. If the cards don't fit, kind of a good rule of thumb is if the cards don't fit in the thick sleeve, you're going to need more than one card saver to ship them. You can see there's plenty of room in here, no big deal. Just put them in there, try to kind of keep them, matched up in the sleeve at least, so there isn't a bunch of like some edges of some of the cards sticking out. And then same principle as if it was a single card. I try to center it real well in the card saver. Don't push it down too far so that, you would possibly get some bends on those bottom corners or anything. And thickness is okay. It's under 1/4 of an inch. I can do that by eye because I've shipped so many of them, but that's something you might want to actually investigate. If you haven't done that before, you might want to measure it because it can't be more than 1/4 inch thick. And then I simply tape the opening. Now, because this is a 7 card shipment, I'm actually going to tape the entire opening. So I just put a piece of tape right across the top, slide your finger along that opening ridge, and they're in there real good. They're not going to go anywhere. So real nice, easy shipment. Again, you got your card with your thank you. Put it in the small envelope. And you print a 63-cent label. Now, with 7 cards, if you have any cards that are thicker, or certainly if you go to the second card saver, you're going to be over an ounce pretty much automatically. So you're going to want to do at least 2 ounces if you're going to a bigger envelope and the 2 card savers, the 2 sleeves, all that. But I know I can get away with the 1 ounce on this 7 card order. Just throwing some garbage away there. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'll go ahead and print my label. This doesn't change much from a single card order or anything. Just waiting for it to load here. I did have a couple, while I'm waiting for that, I did have a couple, eBay's a little slow this morning. I did have a couple of other Starline cards that sold. I also sold a Barbara Eden, who was, of course, Jeannie from My Dream of Jeannie. And this one I wasn't surprised about. I asked a lot more for this one. This is Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubens was the actor that did that. He just recently passed away. And then I also had sold a Bob Barker last week. So those have done very well for me. Something different. I've always wanted to get more actor cards, you know, like American Pie stuff and that kind of thing from some of those top sets. So I was happy when I found those, and they were kind of lotted off into like packs. And most of them were like $2, $3. And I offered the seller $10 for all the cards. And like I said, I think there's about 200 of them. Some of them, actually many of them, I don't even know the names of. And many other ones, I do know the names of. Like there's William Shatner in here, and like, you know, some of those kinds of names that I definitely recognize. All right, so here's our multi-card order all packed and ready to go. You can see, same principle, you just put the sticker right over the opening. Here's your opening right here. Seals it up real nice, looks good. Fold over the little flap to the back. So you build up, you know, the strength on the bottom of the envelope a little bit, and it's ready to go. All right, let's do another order. And then I'll talk about kind of my last steps in the shipping process. So let's see, try to find a fun one to show you. I have a Kylian Mbappe card. I could do that one. So I buy Mbappe, Holland, Ronaldo, and Messi in big lots on occasion here or there. Base cards sell really well, so why not? If you can get a nice stack of Mbappe base cards, it's a good thing to pick up. I don't see a lot of soccer at shows around here and stuff, so it's my best way to get them. But anyway, I did sell an Optic Road to Qatar base. I have 4 or 5 of these. I sold it for, actually I have 6, I see now. I sold it for $8. So you can do really, really well on these cards. And that's a single card order, so I'm going to go ahead and pack that one up. So it's a chrome card, but it'll still fit just fine in a regular top load. Put my piece of tape on the top. So you can see when you rip off a little piece of tape like this roll of tape will probably, even with as many as I ship out, will probably last me about 4 to 5 months. If it starts lasting me less time, that's not necessarily bad, because that means I have a lot more sales. So that's kind of how I look at stuff like that. All right, so we've got our business card with a thank you. Go ahead and print a single card label. And then I want to talk about what I do with this mail after I've got everything labeled and ready to go. Okay, so now we've followed all our steps for shipping. We've got all our envelopes labeled, ready to go. We've left our feedbacks if you don't do auto feedback. All that is all done. Now we just have to get this mail somewhere so that it gets to its destination. That's where my next tip really comes in. And I think it's one that you'll want to, especially if you have a lot of mail or you have more expensive cards. I think it's one you'll really want to try to follow. And that's to bring your mail to a mailing hub in your area. Now, if you're very rural, that might not be something that's a possibility. You might have to give it to your carrier, or you don't have a hub at all. You know, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the mail system. What I can tell you is where I am, I have a hub just like a mile or two away from me. It's kind of perfect where I am. I take them there. I go inside and I drop them in the mail slots inside. I don't like the drive-through drop-off because I don't know exactly what time those get picked up. There's still that potential of, they bring a cart out there, they empty it, put them all in the cart, and they wheel them back. There's potential that something gets lost or stuck. I want them to go directly to the boxes in the hub where they get split and shipped to their next destination. The less travel time, the less hands that get put on these, less times they got to run through a machine, the more success you'll have in your shipping. I ship about 20, I would say probably over 2,000 cards a month, and I have maybe 2 or 3 in a month that don't get to their destination or get returned to me or require more postage or something goofy like that. So it's pretty darn good numbers. But that's what I do. I just take the big stacks of these, I go right to the mail slot inside the hub where they drop down into the boxes that go right to the sorting machine, scanner machine, whatever you want to call it. And I know they're good. They'll sit there until that batch gets called upon. Sometimes they do sit there for a day, but if you give them to your carrier has to manage them in their truck through the rest of their route. Then they got to bring them back, and they got to drop them off to wherever they drop them off to, and then it has to go to the hub from there, and then get sorted. And you're adding more steps to it, which can consequently cause more potential problems. So that's what I do. So that is my shipping in a nutshell. The things that I've learned over time, and make sure you have a tracking number on every shipment so that your customers can follow that themselves, as well as it helps you with claims or anything else. Should something happen, you never want to just buy a roll of stamps and put the stamps on there. First of all, you'll pay more for postage. You won't be able to meet eBay's measurements for top seller, which can get you some discounts and better placement with your listings, things like that. And you'll have to go get them because you can't print a roll of stamps, obviously. So use the eBay standard delivery and bring your packages to the hub once they are ready to be sent out. Okay, let's try to do a couple more sales here. Let's see if we've got something interesting I can show you. That one's fun. I like this one. Let's take a look at a Sports Illustrated for Kids sale. We'll do another non-sport sale. And we'll look at a... All right, we'll start with this. Okay, so this first one here is a Joe Burrow second year Illusions, and then this is the hobby version, so it's thicker and it's got the gold foil on it. It's got a little bit more for it because of that. I asked a little more for it. But what's interesting about this card is that, first of all, Joe Burrow is done for the season with an injury. But I've sold, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've sold 6 of the second year base card in the last week. It caught fire. As soon as one gets ordered, you can start getting sales of more of that card. So I talk about this a lot in other videos, but try to get those quantities, list them, and as soon as you sell one, the listing gets pushed and you'll get a bunch of buyers come in and buy more. Okay, so this is the gold one, so it goes for a little bit more. So I got $4 for this card. Not bad for a second year base card of a player who's not playing. That's how I look at it. All right. Now, it's a bit thicker, so we're going to have to... This one actually is a good thing to look at for shipping. Now, I will say of thicker top loads, as you can see, it's a little thick for a regular top load. I buy most of my top loads in bulk, and most of the time they'll come with different sizes and stuff. So if I have one that's a little thicker that I can fit this card in, I'll do that. If not, I will go to a card saver as a shipping alternative because it'll definitely fit in the card saver. Yeah, even this one's too thin. So I don't have any slightly thicker top loads right now, so this one's going in a card saver. All right, so same principle, doesn't change at all. Just because you're doing a single card in there, you slide it in, center it really well, print the postage. Now, this one, since it's just one single card and we're not going to get a lot of slip, there isn't a big opening at the top, with having more multiple cards in there. This time I will just use a smaller piece of tape, and I just tape the center of it, just enough so that it won't slide out. And of course, we've got our card and our envelope, and that takes care of Joey B. Now, I want to show you, sometimes you can take multiple cards and ship them in a single top load. So that's what I'm going to do with the next one here. So the next one, the way this works best is with Sports Illustrated for Kids cards. No cards are thinner than Sports Illustrated for Kids cards. So what I do is I sleeve all these when I list them, because the perforated edges are really, really big pain to take apart when you just stack them without putting them in a sleeve. So I sleeve them all individually. I will generally get some of the sleeves back for reuse, like in this case, because I sell more than one. So it's not like you're going to be not. And some people sleeve every single card in their inventory, and that's fine too. I just generally don't do that. But anyway, I sold this Kent Steffes. Actually, let me pull this up here. I don't remember what they sold for. I think it was $2 a piece. Yep, so $4 for the two of them. I thought this was a pretty good sale because he's a volleyball player. Not a huge market for volleyball cards. Kent Steffes is a name that a lot of people do know in the volleyball community. But offer on two of them at once. So essentially, it's pure profit on the second one. And generally, when I buy these Sports Illustrated for Kids cards in lots, I get them really cheap, like 5 cents, less than 10 cents every single time. So there's definitely some good profit in it. And like I said, you can ship multiples easy in one top load because of the thinness of the card. So I've got two Kents in here back to back, and I'll do a 63-cent label for that. Business card, of course. Now, the other thing you have to remember too is because they bought two cards, and I list the cards at 1 ounce a piece, when you go to print your label, it's going to automatically default to 2 ounce label, because when you buy multiples, it just adds all the weight together from each sale. So you need to change that, otherwise you're going to print a 2 ounce label at 87 cents. So I just changed it to 1 ounce, and then you go ahead and print from there. Something to keep an eye on as you're getting more multiple card sales. As you grow, you'll see more and more of that. All right, let's do one more sale, and then I'll get back to doing the rest of these. Plus, I have more. I didn't pull them all yet. And Mondays are extremely, extremely busy here. Normally, it's normally just like 8 hours of shipping. I don't generally have time to do a video. I thought I would at least get this filmed today since I had some good sales to use for my examples. But yeah, that's definitely not an ideal day for me to ship. Okay, so the next one I have is this 3-card order. Now this one's actually going to go individually sleeved for each card and in a card saver, and I'll tell you why. So this order has a shiny card in it. Shiny cards are more susceptible to scratch, damage, foil peeling, things like that. So I want to sleeve that one. Has a vintage card, an 88 Merino. I like to sleeve those individually because they're just a little bit more condition sensitive due to the paper that was used. And since the other two are sleeved, I'll simply sleeve up this little Wade Boggs card that I sold as well. This came in the big lot of stuff I bought from the media store by me, where I paid a little over a penny a card. So I do not have anything really into that card. Alonzo I pulled out of a pack. I bought a Box of Bowman Platinum at half price at Walmart, so I think it was like $17 for the box. So it was just one of the base cards from it. And then this came from Merino Lots, I'm guessing, where I paid like a nickel a piece. So low investment on this one, which was always good. And these 3 cards sold for $7.97. So usually what I do is I'll take the sturdiest card and kind of put it in the front. The sturdiest card with the least amount of value in most cases. So I'll put the Wade Boggs in front. good sturdy cardboard on that one. I'll slide all 3 cards into my card saver. Again, try to center them. Don't push the bottom down too far, but definitely get it in enough that you're not going to tape the card in there. And again, just 3 cards, not a super, punched open opening. So just a regular piece of tape, a good, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, whatever, covers plenty of it. Keeps it in there really nice. And then, of course, we've got our business card and our envelope. So we just pack it like we would any other single card top load order. Got to change our weight so we're not printing a 3-ounce, because that would be a 3-ounce label since it's 3 cards. And we want to print that out. And I'll go over, I've got 2 more sales I want to do, and then we'll call this video a wrap. All right, so there you can see it packs up real nice. It's no thicker than a normal, 1 top-loaded card. Simple. Now, the next one I want to show you, because this one is not going to be able to go to eBay standard envelope. This is a 3rd-year Topps Brady card. Believe it or not, those go for good money at this point. But I sold a, oops, where is it? This one. I sold a 2003 Topps base Tom Brady card for $27. Love it. I had sold the other one about a week ago for $26. Real nice condition, be a fine addition to someone's collection. But because it's $27, it's over $20. We can't send it eBay standard envelope. So what do I do with these? Kind of the same thing. I just pack it differently because I'm paying for the higher postage. So why not? Why not pack it better and use free supplies to do so? And I'll tell you what I mean with that. So top load it, right? Sleeved, top loaded, simple. Put my piece of tape on it. Done. Now, I do one additional thing, especially with a cardboard card that's more expensive. I will put it in, I just happen to have a used one. Normally I use new ones, but this is what was here. So I've got my card, and I've got my football card, and I'll put them in here. Usually when I bag cards, I bag them upside down. And the reason I do that is because I want the open part to face the bottom of the bag. That way, if this card ever were to shift, it's not going to float around up here or anything. Worst case scenario is it can only get to the bottom of or the top, in this case, of the top load, because there's no space underneath it. And then you just simply wrap it and stick it. So you got the card on the one side, business card on the one side, and then the sports card on the other. And then generally what I'll do is I'll take a little piece of bubble wrap, thinner bubble wrap. Let me grab one of those. So I've got this bubble. I always have just a handful of bubble wrap laying around. Now it's just a single top-loaded card, so you don't need a ton. So just kind of tear it. I mean, you could use the scissors. I don't know. I'm just not that precise. But anyway, and then I just kind of wrap it up in it, just to give it a little bit of extra padding. Shows that extra effort on a card that costs a little bit more. And then for my shipping material, why I said it was free is because it literally is. So I get I get 100 of these eBay padded envelopes for free every 3 months. So it's actually cheaper for me to use a bubble envelope than it is one of these envelopes. Only by a penny and a half or so, but so be it. Got these padded envelopes, might as well use them, right? So we're going to put the card in here. Now this, I always will, I shouldn't say always, you should weigh it too, but a single card top loaded like that, it's going to weigh less than 3 ounces. So what I do is I fold the padded envelope over, and then I fold the sticker over the top of it. So you get this nice, fairly well padded pack here. And then I'll go print my label. So I just do it as a 3-ounce ground shipping shipment. Because it's going to default to 1 ounce because that's the weight that I put for the card. I switch it to 3 ounces because, again, I know my package is going to be 3 ounces. So my ground advantage cost is going to be $3.75. So I'll print that label. See if we can get this to load here. Okay, so this label is going to look a little different. I'll cover the name up here. So this label is going to look a little different. Obviously, it's going to have the ground shipping. It's got a different scan bar. It's got a full USPS tracking number where they can go to the USPS website to track it, which is what you want on a card that's more expensive. And then, oh, I didn't get this on here very straight, but you'll get the idea. Wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. But then I stick it over where, so I have, this was where the flap is that I folded over and sealed. I put my label over that seal, just like I do with the envelopes. Now I do pull the backing off and actually seal the package, but I put the sticker over the top of it. I want to know if anybody ever tampers with this seal. That's why I do it. So if somebody wanted to open this, they couldn't just like open it and reseal it. They would have to get through this paper label in order to do that by just opening the flap. And then that would tell me that it was tampered with. So that's why I do it that way. Anytime you leave like this pull tab exposed, you know, these envelopes are great because they have this little pull tab. You just pull it and it opens the envelope right up. That's all stuff that could be kind of open and glued back shut or taped back shut. So I always tape over the top. All right, and then one final sale. It's a non-sport sale. I just wanted to share it because this is one of my kind of overpaid buys. I don't have many of them, but I really wanted the cards and I thought they would do very well, and they've done okay. But I did get a sale on a card, so I wanted to show this. I sold one of the South Park cards. So this is from Mecha Streisand. I remember the initial seasons of these shows. Because I was in college at the time, so we of course watched it. And so most of these cards are from that first season. But anyway, I got $2.25 for this card. I paid like 30 some dollars for the 70 card set, so I paid almost 50 cents a card, which is probably more than I should have. They're hard to find. It's South Park. It's got a huge following, and I thought they would do really well. And I've only sold a few, so I'm definitely not up to break even on those yet. But I think it's fair to share your not so good buys as well as your good buys. In the end, I'll be fine. They'll all sell, and I'll make money and stuff. But yeah, not my greatest effort. By the way, so this Cartman card sold $2.25. Go ahead and get this one packed up and shipped out. And that will do it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching. Please leave a comment if you got something to say about this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it to others if you think they could benefit from it. Ring that bell if you want to be notified of any future videos. And that's it for now. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.